Good morning. How are you doing today, Carlos?
I'm doing fantastic now that I'm talking to you. Thanks.
Dude, when you use a word like fantastic, that means you have lived it. You understand it.
I have. I definitely know the difference between fantastic and good.
Yeah, oh, go on. Oh, that's like going at the end of a sentence going, with a sentence. Fantastic and good.
Yeah, totally.
How were you able to find it inside your soul to be able to disconnect the way that you have? Because, I mean, that's one of the things that my wife and I would love to do. We have this beautiful RV, but we can't go out longer than 3 days. We have to get back. Got to get back.
Yeah. I know, totally. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I definitely was blessed with the opportunity doing what I do as an author and a speaker. I found 7 weeks. I had to cancel a couple speaking events, but I did it, and I knew it was going to be a risk because I'm like, well, I'm not going to be making money, but how can I do this? I knew it had to happen. Like, it was absolutely essential that I did this. And so, I found the time. The reason why I did it was because I did a little bit of math, right? Like I got that screen time notification that we all get on Sundays, whether you've got an Android phone or an iPhone, that tells you how many hours a day you're averaging. Yeah. And mine was, 7 hours and 23 minutes a day I was averaging. Now, initially I was like, you know what? This is my job. Like, of course I average 7 hours a day. Like I'm on Instagram, I make YouTube videos, I make TikToks. But then the kicker was I did the math, and the math is what freaked me out. So the first equation I did was, well, how many days, actually I said, how many hours a week was I spending a week, not just a day? And it said 49 hours a week. And I was like, well, wait a second, that's 2 days. Like 2 whole freaking cycles of the sun. I'm looking at this screen. Mm-hmm. What? So I said, let me do another one. How about a year? Well, 49 hours a week is almost 3 months a year. Oh my God. 3 months a year. Can I tell you something? If my iPhone notification came across on a Sunday and said, you are losing 3 months a year of your life, I think it would make drastic changes in most of us. But the kicker was when I said, if I live to be 85 years old, and I'm putting it in my calculator, I'm really bad at math, so I'm trying to figure this out. How much time am I going to lose looking at my screen? If I live to be 85, it said that I was going to lose over 10 years of my life looking at my. Now that is 7 hours and 23 minutes a day average. So here's the deal. People that are judging me, let me tell you, the average American spends 6 to 7 hours a day. If you're just spending 5 hours a day, you have the possibility of losing so just 2.5 months a year is what you're losing your life. So that's what sent me down this journey of, I wonder what this is doing to my soul, what it's doing to my psyche. I wonder what it would be like if I didn't look at a screen that long. Mm-hmm. And can I tell you, it changed everything.
Oh, my God. I'm with you on this 100% because my email reading, I cannot do business until I'm done doing business inside this studio. I will not go to my emails. And that has been one of the greatest challenges.
Yes. Well, I mean, multitasking was the biggest bait and switch to ever happen to society, right? It's like, I just remember in the 90s, it's like, well, we can multitask. Well, no, that just means we're doing everything bad, And so, yes, singularity, find the one thing, do the one thing, be present with the one thing that you're doing, and you're going to do it so much better.
Hello, my name is Arrow. I used a digital device to prep for this talk today.
Hi, Arrow. My name is Carlos, and I also... We can have our little meeting.
Oh, my God. And do you think it got worse during the lockdown? Because, during that lockdown, I had to know everything that was going on because I had the time.
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't believe that these devices are neither good nor bad. They're neither evil nor good, right? They're just a thing. It's just glass. They are what we use them for. I could pick up my headphone, throw it at Skinny Mike's head across the studio right now, and it would be a bad headphone, right? Or I could have a conversation with you, and it's a good headphone, right? So what we found during the lockdown was that it was great to be able to keep in touch with our friends. Loneliness is a epidemic that is sweeping the world right now. Mm-hmm. And we were able to use it for some good with those things. But I do think that we did get even more addicted to consuming content, to this false sense of control that we felt like this content and this knowledge was giving us. I just don't think that we really understood what it was doing. And so now on the backside of it, we're just used to Zoom meetings. We're used to all these things that have taken the humanity out of what we what we do every day. And I got to live for almost 2 months where every conversation I had with another human was breath to breath, face to face. Every meal that I had lasted an hour or longer because I was just talking. The average American meal in 2023 is 12 minutes long. The average American meal in 1923 was 90 minutes long.
Wow.
So I got to like live the way we were created to live again. And here's the kicker. When I fell back in love with all of these things that we've forgotten how to do during these 7 weeks, I just pick up my phone less. You know, like I didn't have to make rules. I don't make rules. It's not like, okay, Carlos, limit your screen time to 5 hours a day. No, my screen time is now 3 hours a day. As of this recording, 3 hours a day, and it was 7.5 hours a day. And I have not implemented a single screen time rule. Why? Because I've just fallen back in love with what's on the other side of the screen.
Yeah, loving life, learning how to love life. And I got to be honest with you, Carlos. I happen to respect loneliness. I think that it is a tool that we've given it the wrong definition because it is a way to slow down the hands of time.
Yes. No, listen, savoring, boredom, solitude. Yes. We are the first generation ever to not have the opportunity to have solitude in our day. Literally, 100 years ago, solitude was built into every single human's day. Now it is gone. It's gone. And I believe that it's a destructive factor to our ability to have the capacity to have crucial conversations. I mean, you wonder why people hate each other all the time while they're just raging on X and this and that. I believe it's because we don't have the solitude to be able to be introspective and be like, is this the kind of person I actually want to be? Yes. So we have lost the ability to have solitude. And I agree with you. It's actually important.
Well, I can't imagine the solitude that you went through by being on that Amish farm because I came from the farms of up in Montana and Wyoming, and I used to walk those fields, and you were with the sheep. And I have to tell you, I went in and studied what the sheep means when it comes to the animal kingdom. Innocence and purity. Did you feel that?
Oh, my gosh. Yes, it was. Gosh, listen, I'm out there with Willis, the sheep farmer. He's got his staff. He had a freaking staff. Like, I'm like, I thought only Moses had a staff. No, he had like a staff, and he'd like tap the sheep, and the sheep are following him. And I learned so much from the sheep. I learned so much from this shepherd, Willis, that I was hanging out with. And there was a beauty to the cadence, the stability that the Amish had when I was with them. I was exhausted. Listen, I'm a city boy from East LA. So like the fact that I'm shearing sheep every day, that I'm out there like, working on making the hay every single day, all of those things. I tell people now, like, I've got new life skills in this season of life. If a sheep were to walk in the studio door right now, I could stick its head between my legs and shear it in 5 minutes flat. Like I've got like like all of these things, like maybe we were created to have the earth under our nails. Like my hands are so clean now because we don't work the land like we used to. And I was able to do all those things. And there was not only, I think, did things heal like in my body, but there was a sense of like pride that I had every day. Like I could see the thing that I did. I could see the thing that I created. And the Amish really brought that out in me.
Don't you think that we need to have more face-to-face time, like you were saying? Because I live by a mantra now that people are not happy to see me. They're happy that I saw them first.
Yes.
And recognizing them first is so important.
I mean, you're literally preaching my message right now. Like, this is so important. I believe there's 3 things as humans that I pulled out of this. Be human, which is slowing down, which is what I had to do with the monastery and with the monks. Seeing humans, seeing other people. Mm-hmm. That's what they're desperate for. Every human is desperate to be seen. And then freeing humans, finding a way in some way, shape, or form to free them from something. And if we start doing these 3 things every single day, especially that seeing piece, like we have such a hard time, again, especially living in this rage ecosystem of X, this rage ecosystem of Facebook, all of these places. We have a hard time seeing people and understanding that people are people. People aren't opinions, and we have a hard time getting past that. And so I love that. One of the ways that I do that is I've got this phrase that I live by. When somebody asks me, "Well, Carlos, you're a public-facing figure. Where do you stand on this issue?"
Yeah,
this is my answer. I say, well, I don't stand on issues. I walk with people. and people either hate that or they love that because they're like, they either love that because like, oh my gosh, that's what we're supposed to do. Or they hate it because like, no, you're just trying to toe the middle ground. You don't want to. And I'm like, wait a second. it's not that I don't have opinions on issues. I just know that every issue isn't an opinion, it's a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go walk with that person, whether I agree with them or not, and see them. And the second you see somebody, it's so hard for them to hate you and you to hate them.
Are you a defragger? What I mean by that is, do you break things down to ask questions and then question the answers?
Yes, that is me. How'd you figure that out? I love that because curiosity is just such a missing skill these days. It's the missing part of who we are. And I believe that curiosity literally breeds empathy. And so, I'm not saying that if there's somebody that's super dehumanizing to other people, that I'm just going to be like buddy with them, right? There's some people that I just can't walk with. Okay. So this isn't going to work with everybody, but yes, I want to ask questions. I want to find out why you believe this. Well, why do you believe that? Oh, that happened to you. Well, why did that happen? The question why is so helpful for us to understand where someone's coming from.
That's so interesting that you bring that up, because one of the things when it comes to people that make me feel uncomfortable is that I challenge myself, play the game, dude, play the game, go kill them with kindness, go be really super nice to them. And then you get that question, why are you always so happy? Because you would be happy with me. And it just it kind of just put them on the spot.
Totally. People don't know what to do with that. They can I tell you a quick story really fast? There's so I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and there was a really big media company that moved to Nashville a few years ago, and they moved and I follow a lot of their personalities on X, and there's one of them that and I don't disagree with. I mean, I don't agree with this guy, right? Like I really vehemently disagree with a lot of his opinions, but I actually enjoy following him on X because I think he's smart and he teaches me things about what I don't believe. But I happened to see him at a restaurant like maybe 2 weeks in, and so this guy's kind of a celebrity. And my wife's like, why are you freaking out? I was like, oh my gosh, that's blank. And he's, and she goes, well, what about him? I was like, well, I honestly, like, he's so mean. He's just like really mean to people. But he's kind of funny sometimes. And so I follow him. She goes, well, you should go pay for his meal. Ooh. And I go, excuse me? I was like, not that guy. Like not him. Like literally, I don't believe anything that he says. She's like, well, you're Mr. Don't Stand on Issues, Walk with People. You should pay for his meal. So I walk up to him. And I was like, hey, my name's Carlos. Nice to meet you. And, him and his wife were smiling at me. And I was like, listen, I know who you are off of X. It was Twitter at the time. And I said, and I want to let you know, I don't agree with really anything that you say. And immediately, he got defensive. Yep. And I said, but I just want to say, welcome to town. Here's a couple of mechanics that I really trust. Here's a couple and I just want to say, welcome to town. I'm so glad you're here. Literally, this dude's jaw is hanging on the floor. So then I paid for his meal. I didn't tell him that I did that, but I told the waitress. A couple hours later, my phone starts blowing up. And it's all these friends that follow this guy that do believe what he believes are like, hey, is this you? And they all had a screenshot of a tweet where he said, you guys are never going to believe this. Some guy named Carlos here at a restaurant came walking up to me and says he doesn't agree with anything I say and disagrees with me politically and all these things. But he helped me find mechanics, and then he paid for my meal. He restored my view of humanity. I can't believe this. And sure enough, everyone that knows me was like, this was you, wasn't it? This was you, wasn't it? And let me tell you, this is just the thing that I think we all need to get back to. I ended up having lunch with this guy. He reached out to me and we've had a couple meals together. We're not best friends, but there's a bridge of humanity that's been built because of exactly what you said. Kill them with kindness.
Don't you think, though, to get back to that humanity, we need to take more transition walks? I think that we've got so much mentally going on and we're doing so many different things that we've got to be able to, to go on a transition walk and get into a different area.
Yes. Walking. Yeah. We have two limbs attached to our torso by our hips that were put there that allow us to all move at approximately 3 miles an hour. That's how fast human beings were designed to move unless we were being hunted or chased by something. 3 miles an hour. That I call it God speed. That's what we were kind of designed to walk at. And when I was with the monks, living with the monks, right, they're all moving, the cadence of their robes bouncing back and forth looked like bells on their bodies. There was something beautiful about the speed at which they lived. And I believe that every day, not only for just our physical health, but you got to take a break in the middle of your day. Go on a walk. If you got to walk around the hallway because you work in an office building, all of those things are going to create the capacity inside of you to be able to handle difficult conversations, to be able to be in meetings with people that maybe you can't stand, but then you're going to begin to understand, maybe I can't stand them because they're medicating a wound, which is why they're acting like this. They got something in their life. And I think that you're right. Walking slows us down to be able to maybe understand things that we couldn't understand before.
Being with those monks, right away, that takes me back to my studies in Taekwondo, because Taekwondo actually came from these people who believed in building their body better, walked in with these monks, and they were severely overweight. And so they combined the teachings of the monks with those of building the body. And it's like, so did you recognize that, or did you experience that as well? Because you're an outsider coming into their world.
Yes, right. Like I'm an outsider. I'm going 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And I come into their world. I come into the world, and it is so slow. Even the speed that I'm talking right now is driving you crazy, right? It's like, come on, man, get to the point. But I was forcefully forced to slow down and to walk and to wonder, right? Wondering is gone. And with the monks, I was able to wonder so much because I didn't have this wonder killer in my pocket called Google, right? Like I just wondered. I wondered all the time, and it was so glorious. And now, you know, what I love about the monks and the monastic way of living is the reason why they do this is it literally is the most stable environment I've ever been in. Like there is a stability to their rituals. There's a stability, and they just know what's coming. So there's a lot less, probably anxiety in those spaces. And so, I was, it was forced upon me because I lived there for 14 days with them. Oh, but I left with so many things that I've continued to implement in my life.
Wow. Where can people go to find out more about you, Carlos? Because I want them to really get into your heart and soul.
Come on. I love that. For a guy that wrote a phone about being on your screen list, you can follow me on Instagram. That's the place where I'm on every day. And again, phones aren't bad, but what's beautiful is what's on the other side of the phone. Come and I'll help you with that at Loswhit, LOSWHIT. If you want to find out more information about the book, you can go to reconnectedbook.com and find out information there.
Dude, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future. And if you're over here in the Carolinas, we've got to get together and have lunch without our phones.
Let's go. I'm all in, bro. It may last 90 minutes, but I'm in.
I'm there. Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.